Tom Wilson had a 7-game suspension for a hit on Bruins Carlos. And so what'd you think?
No, he should have got a penalty. I mean, you run a guy like that. I mean, he ran. And Tom Wilson, I really like Tom Wilson. I mean, he should let his hair go longer, eh? You know, he's got a short hair. Doesn't look like the Tom Wilson. And he did run it from behind. And I don't know, 7 games, though. That's 14 games because of the shortened season.
Shortened season, that's like 14.
But he'd been in trouble before. But I love Tom Wilson. I wish if I had 20 Tom Wilsons, I wouldn't lose. And you see, right after that, I knew the Bruins. The way the Bruins play is I knew somebody was going to grab me. And Gerard Tenorti. Did he ever hit him? I mean, they had a pretty good fight. Tom Wilson, and then I thought, and then Frederick, and the following period, they had a great fight too. So,
yeah, but it was something to see after the Jared Tenorti got into the fight with him. The Bruins wheeled off 3 straight goals, and after the third one, Tenorti was sitting in the penalty box. Bergeron went over and tapped the penalty box glass as if to say, "Way to go."
Well, that's the way the Bruins are. I mean, you might beat the Bruins out of the playoffs, and you might be, but they always have guys. And they picked up that Gerard for nothing. They got him on the waivers,
yep.
And he was. If I'm trying to remember back, he was Montreal's first pick. But he was top pick anyhow, and they let him go, and everybody let him go. And here here this big guy, he's 6'3".
Well, a lot of people may not realize his dad played in the NHL.
Mark, yeah,
and he was really tough too.
He was tough too. I think he broke his leg or something.
Yeah,
I don't forget. But I think that ended his career. But he was a big tough guy too. And you get a guy like, and I saw the interview like after the game or after the period. He didn't make a big deal of it. He didn't want to talk about it. He just said, "This is a tight group we have here in Boston." He said, "We got to stick up for each other." That was all he said. So that was a good game, and Tom Wilson got 7 games. I didn't think he'd get 7 games.
No, that's, as I say, that's almost like 14, and that would have been the longest he's been suspended. So, it was kind of, he did hit him a little bit from behind, but
Well, he did hit him from behind. He deserved a penalty, but I think they missed it. It reminded me, and I'm going to tell it again. I don't know about Gary Doak.
Yeah, I mean, you told it once before, but
yeah. It is almost the same hit, looking at the boards, as Gary Doak. And Gary Doak, Carlo, I think it was the guy that
Carlos, he got
Carlo.
hit.
And he was, you'd never win that way. But and we're in Detroit, and I remember Dennis Hextall is chasing, like from behind the net. It's sort of, and Gary turned back. And boy, did he ever! He broke his orbital bone and broke his nose and blood, and in his mouth he knocked some of his teeth out. And he really did a number on him. And I remember, and I swear to God, I remember going up to Gary and giving him heck. He said, "What the you doing? Turning back?" And I know. And the blood is pouring. He's taking him to the hospital. He's putting his. I remember he had a big belt.
He's going to hospital, and you're giving him heck for turning back.
Yeah, and he's putting his shirt on.
Well,
and that.
He did. I think he broke his orbital bone, knocked some teeth out.
Yeah,
cut him for 10 or 15 stitches, and he didn't even get Hextall didn't even get a penalty.
Well, he didn't deserve a penalty at the time if you're dumb enough to turn back. So I'm giving it to, and so I told everybody. I said to the players, "Don't say a word. Don't say it was a terrible hit and all that stuff." I says, when they ask me, I'm just going to say it's just part of the game. But he paid, and it was near the end of the game. We would have done something in that game, but it was near the end of the game. I think every game Dennis played in the National Hockey League, we even followed him to he played
to Washington.
We followed him to Washington.
I knew you, and the Bruin, because it was after a couple seasons you were still giving to it. And we all know why, too. Everyone.
No, I didn't say nothing. I never told the guys that. I should have, but they might have. But it was a pretty good story. And every time, and Dennis held his own till he fought Jonathan, and that was it. And I remember the game. Jonathan got a 2-minute minor for instigating, 5-minute major, 10-minute misconduct, and you got a game misconduct. So I said to McCauley, I remember, and John McCauley, God love him, he's the father of Wes McCauley, he's a referee now. And I said to him, "So what do you win a fight and you get life?" He said, "You never ever heard that happen to you, eh, Cherry?" I thought it was pretty good. Anyhow, that was it. Tom Wilson got 7 games, and
Do you think that'll throw Washington off?
You know, it's a funny thing you say. I'm watching that game. It seems I'm watching every game. I am watching every game, and I don't think Ovechkin is interested. I don't think he's interested at all. He doesn't. I know he maybe speared the guy. You know, Federer.
He spears him in the groin. He doesn't even get a penalty.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Is he
I don't think
he on a long-term contract?
No, and you know, I think he's waiting for the playoffs. I hope he's waiting for the playoffs because he doesn't seem interested at all. He doesn't get in that spot on the right-hand side, and I know they're playing him. They're playing him every time he touches the puck. Now there's somebody on him, but
that's what it seems like now, eh? Like it seems like you're into the season where. Like even like McDavid with the Leafs for playing McDavid, and they beat them this weekend. Every time he touched the puck, there was somebody there, and like the Leafs, Bogosian or Brody or somebody was giving him a little shot as they went around. So
that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want soccer, you want basketball, you leave them alone. And
but do you think this will throw? Well, you think it's going to throw Washington off?
I don't know. They don't seem to. They're not the Washington of old, and they got basically the same team, and they just don't look. They don't look. No. I think they're waiting for the playoffs.